What are the challenges that lie ahead for the independent living movement?
Money is a critical part that the centers need to be generating more dollars, both, I think, through the federal, state, county, and city governments. But I also think we need to really look more at what we could be doing to generate our own money. For example, employment, as I've been saying, I think is a very important issue. What are we really doing to facilitate disabled people getting jobs? Are we working with headhunter companies? Have any of the centers set themselves up as headhunter companies that could, really work with corporations to help them identify locally, regionally, nationally people, because headhunting companies get paid fees. I think there are many opportunities out there, some of which are very much locally driven. If you look at what has gone on in other countries, particularly developing countries, where there was and is no such thing as going to the state to get funding, many of these organizations have evolved by creating businesses where they make toys, not sheltered workshop kinds of products, but meaningful types of products that they sell, where they get contracts with businesses to hire disabled people for integrated businesses, where they run supermarkets and cafes, where they're involved in activities that are of value to the community, and they're run by disabled people. They employ disabled and non-disabled people in some cases, but they're money generating. And I think we could do well to really learn more about how we could do that ourselves. Some of these things I think are very locally driven. Being able to work with organizations that help small businesses start, to be able to look at doing assessments of needs in local communities to be able to generate dollars. I think those are things that we have to look at in a much more concrete way. Certainly the states that have been getting Medicaid money to provide personal assistance services, some of those centers are getting large numbers of dollars. And I think that's a very creative way of generating money at the same time that you're providing a needed support for disabled people in the community, and hopefully doing it from an IL perspective. So really pushing for the self-directed approach and really listening to what it is disabled people say they need and helping them get what they need to be able to get the best possible personal assistance services for themselves. But I think, there are pockets around the country of activities that centers are doing that are generating funds, wheelchair repair, van modification, being a couple of the types that you hear more commonly talked about. Certainly, some of the programs that are doing work with youth and generating grants or contracts from local education authorities to do some work, I think that's important. Those aren't necessarily, they can be consulting businesses. But I just think that if our movement is really to have the breadth and depth that it needs, we need to be able to get more money to hire more people. We need to be able, I think, to much more aggressively also be looking at how we integrate issues affecting disabled people into the broader society. And I think that goes anywhere from making sure that your battered women's shelters and your homeless shelters and your substance abuse treatment programs are accessible to people who have cognitive disabilities, who are deaf or blind, who have physical disabilities. But I also think that we need to be serving on boards. We need to be serving on boards of other organizations in our community, nonprofit and for-profit. I think we desperately need disabled people who are on for-profit boards, because for-profit organizations can have great influence on what's going on in the local community, the state, and the country. And if the approach is we need to be serving on all types of boards, we need to be doing that because we need to be able to get the issues and needs of disabled people understood, because the bottom line is we are not trying to set up a parallel system for disabled people. We're trying to remove the barriers that prevent disabled people from benefiting from everything in society.